As a repair technician, we always wanted the option to have genuine Apple parts. Now, since Apple has opened up their self-service store, we're reacting to a video from Louis Rossmann on his first impressions of the Apple self-service repair store. Let's get into it. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Adrian Reddix, and to give you a little background of who I am before we start into this video. I used to own a wireless repair shop called AR Tech Wireless Repair. I've been in the IT industry for about 8 to 9 years, from doing sales to owning that shop, and now I work for a local municipality doing IT work for them. So as far as repairs, I've been doing cell phone repair and computer repair, especially micro soldering, for probably the past 11 years, just on my own as a hobby. It's been a journey from trying to source parts and trying to make sure that the parts you source are actually good, and you giving your money to somebody, they will actually send you what you actually ordered. That was in the early days. It was very likely that you would pay somebody money and never get your parts. Yeah, I went through the ups and downs. So let's go ahead and get into this video.
Today we're going to talk about Apple's new self-service repair program. This program was something that was announced 5 months ago, and when I talked about it, I said that we're not really going to know much about this program until the details are released and we see what they actually make available. So what I'd like to do today is actually go through this program, go through their site, and I highly suggest that you do the same and follow along with me. Regardless of whether your views align with mine or not, all I would ask you to do is actually look at the source material on the website and not believe what you're reading in the tech press. Most of what you're reading in the tech press is copied and pasted from Apple's press releases or reworded in their own words. Very similar to what I would do in 6th grade when I didn't want to write a book report or read the book. I would go to the Spark Notes and I would reword the Spark Notes in my own words so that I could get an A on my book report without having to do any actual work. That's what you're going to find in most tech blogs. They're not going to really look at this through a critical lens. They're not going to actually try and figure out what any of this means to normal people. They're really just copying and pasting Apple's press release. So what I would suggest is that you just take a look at the program for yourself.
So if you don't know anything about Louis Rossmann and the right to repair movement, the two biggest faces in this movement were or still are Louis Rossmann and Jessa Jones. I've been following those guys for years. And if you don't understand what's going on in the right to repair and how Apple and a lot of other companies have given a lot of lip service but haven't really made good on their promises so far, go do some research on that. I have a video. I'll link that in the description, and I'll also link a couple of videos from Louis and Jessa that might give you a better explanation on the right to repair and what was actually going on in the years before this moment.
So the first thing that you would take a look at here is this is Apple's self-service repair store over here. More importantly than you being able to buy the original screen yourself is that they make available access to all of the tools that you could possibly need to want to do the job just as well as it's done at the factory. So you have adhesive, you have the adhesive cover, you have the adhesive cutter, you have all the screwdrivers, you have a display press. Now, the display itself is sealed into the phone with this liquid resistant adhesive on the sides. And even though you can buy third-party cuts of adhesives and kind of push it with your fingers, it's never going to be the same type of liquid resistant seal you're going to get if you use one of their tools.
He is 100% right on that. Some of the aftermarket sealers are no more better than just regular adhesive. A lot of them really don't liquid seal. So once you do a repair, or once an independent shop does a repair, yeah, most of them can't guarantee that it's going to be liquid resistant. Once an independent repair shop opens a device, there's no guarantee that it's going to be resistant to liquid once again. It's just not. A lot of independent repair shops don't have the tools or the type of adhesive to make sure that it's going to be resistant. And how do you test that? You know, they put it in there and they throw it in a bucket of water. Like how would they verify that they actually have the process that once it's done, that is done? So that's something that's going to be good to have, is have something that the same exact materials that Apple uses in the manufacturing process to use to make the repairs, to make it as watertight and resistant as it once was.
So the fact that I can buy the exact same tool that Apple's using to get a factory liquid resistant seal, that's pretty cool. Like, I mean, that's not something I saw available for my Samsung phone, that I could buy the exact same tool that they're using for this as an end consumer in this easy manner and have a manual available that tells me how to do it.
That is a good thing. That was one of the things about us independent repair people is we ask over and over again, Apple and Samsung and Sony and all these other manufacturers of tech, can we at least buy the tools that you use so we can make the repairs as close as possible to factory? No response. Nobody ever gave us access to official tools. This is actually a really good thing from Apple. But let's see what else is going on in this self-repair thing.
And when you click iPhone and you go iPhone, we get iPhone 12, iPhone 12 mini, Pro, 13, mini, Pro, and SE. If you have an iPhone 11 Pro or an iPhone 11 and you want a battery or a screen, sucks to be you. If you have an iPhone XS Max or you have an iPhone XR, you have an iPhone 10 or an 8 or a 7 or a 6, well, it sucks to be you. In my experience, it tends to be the phones that are a little bit older. Those are the ones that you've had more time with, more time to drop, more time for the battery to degrade, more time for you to wear out the charge port, which, by the way, you may have noticed is not actually available as a fixable part in this list.
One of the most popular repairs I used to have to do besides a screen repair on any device was a charging port. Charging ports are so susceptible to damage. You have people who sweat a lot and they used to corrode them, or people who just don't, even with the lightning cable, they don't necessarily have it in straight and they'll put it in crooked and it'll damage pins. Or the charge port was such a common repair, and with a lot of iPhones, you'll have the charge port be a piece of it's like a bottom flex that has the microphone, it has speaker or like the signal to either power the speaker or things like that. It'll have something like an antenna on some models, or it'll be where the Taptic engine is on a lot of those models. So that bottom flex controls a lot of things, not just the charge port. So any number of things could go wrong on that, and not having the ability to change it or change it with official Apple parts, it's a big oversight.
Charge ports do break. These are repairs. We have done thousands of charge port repairs at our store for many different devices because you plug it in, unplug it, plug it in, unplug it, plug it in, unplug it. It's, it's something that is going to break at some point. And the fact that you're not even able to buy that here is something that I would be critical of them for.
Yeah, that's weird. Like it's a very common repair, like he said, on a lot of different devices.
Many people will say, well, why do you guys not use original parts? Or people just want to be able to use knockoff parts. Or, these crappy no-name repair shops, or people fixing their own phones are going to not use original parts. And one of the reasons that people are going to Mobile Centrics or eBay in order to buy their charging port flexes is because you literally can't get it from the manufacturer. If you want an original charge port flex, sucks to be you.
And here's the thing about that. People were always telling us that, hey, why don't you use original Apple parts or original Samsung parts? Is because you don't say that whenever you go get your car repaired. Whatever part that's been tested and good, you put that part on there. That's why when you go to AutoZone or any other type of mobile part store, you don't have just one type of battery or just one type of exhaust manifold or just one type of alternator. You have different manufacturers that make these parts to spec. So as long as the parts are tested and they work fine, it really doesn't matter, honestly, to me, the brand. But then you have quality issues in the repair industry that people were just putting out trash parts. And there was no way for you to know it until you actually bought it, installed it, and then saw that, hey, this doesn't work. And hopefully that this person or company that you bought from were reputable, that, hey, this didn't work, you can send it back, and they send another part. But then that's like another week or two back and forth. And now a repair that could have taken 30 minutes to do turned into a 3-week thing because you got a bad part didn't work, you sent it back, they sent you a working part. So actually having good parts would make things so much better.
My business DBA is Mac Laptop Repair Specialist. And when it comes to Macs, the product drop-down menu leaves something to be desired there. Now, the next up is batteries. Some people have talked about batteries, pricing, and stuff like that. When you take a look, you'll see that a battery is available at $69, and it's $44.85 after credit when you return the original battery. I think that your average consumer today probably thinks of a lithium ion battery the same way they think of the batteries in their remote control or whatever. You know, they just throw it in the garbage like you did with old alkaline batteries.
Well, that makes sense because lithium batteries are very sensitive, especially to puncture. So you don't want a lithium battery, just like he said, in the trash, something punctured and things catch on fire. I think that's good. But also it reminds me of like core charges. I know I'm always talking about the mechanic size, like auto mechanic, but when certain parts, you have a core charge. And basically what that does is once you take a part off, they'll charge you, I guess, a fee. And if you don't return that item, you don't get your $20 or $30 back. I think it helps them, one, get parts so they can recycle them, or, you know, as far as like rebuild, like alternators, I know have core charges. I think things that they can reuse, they have core charges on them, right? I think that's also that maybe they can take some materials from like these different parts and recycle them and make new materials, which is good for the environment and also good for, I guess, their bottom line. They can get materials back in, which I have no problem with that.
The next up over here is going to be their own PR document, which I thought was particularly interesting. So they released a PR document that goes over a lot of different things here. This is expanding access to service and repairs for Apple devices. Now, this document has many, many citations. So like over here, for this one statement, they have 5 citations. And I think it's important to keep in mind the amount of citations they will use. Apple believes that the safest and most reliable repairs are those handled by a trained technician using genuine parts, tools, processors, and diagnostics. And all of this is, there's 0 citation. But the part that really kind of stung me here, that just kind of seemed like in my opinion, it's kind of like a backhanded slap in the face while they're pretending to do something that is repair friendly here, is what their mention of why they're not releasing schematics for use in board level repairs.
What? They're not releasing schematic? That's the whole. Are you serious? Let me tell you how getting schematics used to work and sometimes still work today. This is frustrating. Okay. So you would have to go to some shady website that had a language that you didn't speak. It was a lot of Russian and a lot of Chinese. Give this guy $60 and hope that on the back end he would give you, or they would give you, the schematics to come back to you. It was so frustrating that I've lost hundreds of dollars trusting people to try to get schematics so I can do repairs that Apple wouldn't touch anymore. Right? But why not release the schematics for the iPhone 10 or like the MacBook Air 2013? Why not? You're not producing them anymore. You're not repairing them anymore. What's the point? What's the point? We have to go to these shady websites to get a repair schematic so we can fix a board or fix a computer you don't even touch anymore. That is insane. Why would you? Why? Let's go back.
If you want to be able to do a board level repair, you're still using ZXW tool or some cracked schematics because you're not getting access to any of that via this program. It says, why isn't Apple releasing schematics for use in board level repairs? Industry and repair experts agree that the vast majority of board level repairs are best performed in a factory environment using specialized equipment capable of producing high quality, reliable, and repeatable results to meet original equipment manufacturer standards. They have 2 citations. We're going to go over those in a moment. Boards are packed with many small components necessary for the device's proper functioning. For example, ball grid array components require specialized equipment for their repair that is restricted to factory or advanced repair requirements due to its cost and complexity. Therefore, board-level repairs, particularly those involving soldered components, are best performed by certified technicians who use controlled processes, calibrated factory equipment, and rigorous testing. So one of the first things that I think is really interesting to take a look at here is one of their citations over here is from, actually 2 of them appear to be from CTIA. CTIA is a trade association that has routinely lobbied against right to repair as a trade association based on what I believe to be misinformation and bullshit.
I'll also link a couple of videos from him and Jessa and a couple other people just to see how this association was just, I don't know who funded it. I'm pretty sure I can go look up, but it seems like a concerted effort to run independent repair people out of business, and they lobbied every right to repair law that came up in any state. They were there just saying the most egregious things. Like, watch the videos.
When it comes to things like BGA equipment being so expensive and unattainable, 99% of the repairs that I do on this channel can be done with a rework station that I sell on my store on the internet for less than $300.
I mean, you could definitely do a lot of these repairs. If you get a good quality microscope, it costs you anywhere between $300 to $500. You can get a hot air rework station. I used to use one. It wasn't great, but it was like a $80 one that I was doing repairs with. But you can get a nice one. Like I have the exact same one for around $300. I have a Hako soldering iron. It's so many different things. So you could probably do all 90 to 95% of micro soldering board repairs for less than $1,000. Like it's mind blowing that they would use costs as a deterrent or a reason not to sell schematics or even the equipment they use to do those. Because I know at the Apple store they don't do board level repairs. I know that for certain.
In spite of that, if you look at many of the 820-2915s and 820-2914s refurbished by Apple between the time period of 2015 until the program ended around late 2016, what you'll notice is that they look like they've been through a barbecue. Whereas the boards that I fixed on video, that I show you when I'm done with them on the video, do not have that look to it. It's because we have, believe it or not, a better BGA rework process, because we are not trying to pump out the maximum amount of boards for the lowest amount of money. There's just stuff in this, and you can read through the rest of this document over here, which just in my opinion is just a PR fluff piece.
Yeah, it seems like it's a lot of lip service that, we've been complaining for years about having the right to repair, and that if you actually own the device, it's your device to do whatever you want to do with it. One thing I want to point out is what happens whenever we're on like iPhone like 16. Can you still get these 12 parts since they were available now? Are they going to stop selling those parts? Like, you can go buy a 1971 F100 and still buy parts for that, even though they hadn't made the F100 for almost over 40 years.
Do I like the fact that they released screens, batteries, and the equipment to do it? Yes. Do I think that a program that 15 years into the iPhone's existence covers the 12, the 13, and the SE is a particularly good program when it doesn't even include all the parts necessary to do many of the repairs that we do on a regular basis? No. Is it really too much to ask that we be able to get access to a charge board or a power button or parts to an iPhone 11 or a 10 or... Again, there's a reason that I put schematics or die on a t-shirt 6 years ago. The reason I put schematics or die on a t-shirt is so that in the future, I wouldn't be able to come up with some, pretend that some half-ass compromise meant that we actually won anything.
He's 100% right. This is a step in the right direction, but a step that, if this is considered a step, they have many, many miles more to go. I do know that they have a program that you can, if you're an independent repair shop, you can become a Apple certified repair shop. But Jessa has a great video about her becoming Apple certified and how honestly BS the whole thing is. I'll link that video also in the description. I don't expect them to have parts for iPhone 4S. That's unreasonable. I get that. If you want parts for that, they have plenty of aftermarket parts out there, and I'm pretty sure nobody cares if you want to redo your iPhone 4S. That's fine. But for phones like the 10 or the 10R or the 11, those are when, just like he said, that batteries start to show that there's something going on. They don't charge as well and things like that. For a lot of things that have rechargeable batteries, 2 years is about the time where things start to get a little, hectic. It starts to show its age around 2-ish years. So he's 100% right on that. Well, that's pretty much it on that. Let me get this a little closer. To be totally critical of Apple would be a misstep. But they have definitely did something. Is it enough of something to really make a dent in anything? Absolutely not. But again, like I've said before, Apple was and still isn't the only offender when it comes to right to repair. You have a lot of companies out there that don't necessarily make it easy for not only independent repair shops, but people who just want to do the repair on their own. They make it very difficult for them to find either quality parts or parts at all. And I'm of the belief that if you buy a piece of equipment, you own it and you can do whatever you want with it. If you want to take it and put it in you want to take your phone and put it in a Yeti and modify it and use it like this, you could do that. Have you ever repaired a piece of tech before? What was it? Was it a phone? Was it a screen on a laptop? Was it a battery for a device that wasn't charging as well? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like videos like this, check out this other video I did about right to repair. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one.